Being confident is one of those things that tends to elude us, meaning we feel like we can't get a hold of it. We don't know what to do. It's confusing. It's difficult to know how to build confidence. But really, there are a few things you can do that some are very simple, others are simple, but maybe it's not the kind of thing you want to do. It might be unpopular, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, hello, Jeff. Hi, Rennie. Hello, Aldana. I already see some of our regulars here. If you're regular or if you are new here, let us know where you're listening from so people can get to know each other a little bit here. My name is Tanya. Welcome to 10 to 20 with Tanya. And I know that most of us, myself included, want to feel more confident speaking our second language or third language or fourth language. So if this is you, give me your hand up, a thumb up, say me too. Um, Me too. I want to feel more confident too. So put it in the chat. Me too. Hey, Karima, Jeff, I see Jeff's hand. Hi, Oksana. Nelson, Alexandra. It's good to see everyone. Matthias, I think is how to pronounce your name. Matthias, maybe if you're from Argentina. Okay, wow, it's cool to see these hands going up. And the thing is that we are always building our confidence or tearing it down. So what we want to do is build our confidence. This is the verb we use when we talk about confidence. We want to build our confidence. We don't want to tear it down. To tear it down means it's a phrasal verb that means like to take it apart, to um, take it down, put it into pieces. We don't want to do this with our confidence. And there are things that tear down your confidence. But today we're going to talk about an unpopular way to build your confidence. But even though it's unpopular, I will say, first of all, that in my experience, it's a simple thing to do. And I'm very, very grateful that I learned how I could build my self confidence this way because for me now, not only is it easy to do, it's like very necessary in my life. So if you have any ideas what this might be, go ahead and write them in the chat. If you are joining for the first time or watching the recording and you're wondering where the chat is, it's over to this side of the screen. So if you can't see it, just make the image on your screen smaller. I think it's easier to see on a laptop or a computer than a telephone. Okay, it's great to see people from all over the world here and lots of people wanting to build their self-esteem. And does anyone know what this thing is that might be unpopular? It's not something I've ever heard anybody talk about on Instagram as a way to build your self-esteem for speaking English. Um, what could it be? So the way this way of building self-esteem is what we call making amends. I'm going to write that in the chapter. What does making amends mean? Even native speakers sometimes have a little problem with what this means. What does making amends mean? Well, let me know what you know about making amends. Write it in the comments or say, I don't know, or I have no idea, or I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments what you know about making amends. Maria says, what a coincidence. She's writing about it in her journal. This is can be very helpful. This is something you might also want to write about in your journal. Okay, I see a couple people saying they don't know what it is. Let me know. Do you know what this is? Do you have an idea? I have no idea. I think I know. Maybe I know. Write in the comments what you are thinking. So when we amend something, it's like fixing it, making it right, could be another way to look at it, or also adding to something. So when you think of, for example, the Constitution to the United States has several amendments. This means when they wrote the Constitution, there were some things that they left out. You could almost think of it like a mistake. They didn't think of it. They decided we need to fix this Constitution. We need to add something to make the Constitution better. Okay, yes, Oksana, possibly to correct something. It is to correct something. That's a great way to say it. Um, Jeff says, I'm not afraid to speak. However, I get very self conscious when I make a mistake and everything goes south from that point on. This is a great phrase. Everything goes south. Take a look at Jeff's comment. When we say that everything goes south, we mean things were going okay and everything went south from there. Everything started to fall apart. Everything went badly from there on out. Ah, I see Rumgliev is asking. Maybe Jeff can give another example or explanation of that. Yes, Matthias, I hope I'm not saying your name too incorrectly, says like an improvement. So making an amends as a collocation, when we put these two words together, can mean the same thing, correcting something, fixing it, adding to it, making an improvement. But I'm not talking specifically about your English. So, Maria, maybe can you give us any more information on what you're writing about? I don't want anybody to feel like you need to share something personal, but if you have something that can help to explain this. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience. So, I'll tell you what making amends gets confused with. First, let me say this. Making amends is something we do when we have done something, usually in relationship to another person, maybe someone in our family, somebody at our job, could even be somebody at the grocery store. But typically, this is somebody important in our lives, um, or a group of people that are important in our lives. And we, um, we've done something we realize is not a good idea to do. It's not working out. It's causing problems. It might be a bad thing to do. It might just be something that wasn't a good idea. When we make amends to those people, we change our behavior to be appropriate. So, what is appropriate? Appropriate means we act in a way that is acceptable, that is okay, that is good, that is um, the none of these words. I don't like these words actually as much as appropriate, but this is a healthy. There's a word I like. This is a healthy way to behave. So, right, we can have physical health in our body, we can have mental health in our mind, we can behave in healthy ways. Pardon me. Let me say that again because I kind of stumbled over my words. Let me write that. I stumbled over my words. This means I was stumbling over my words. Hey, Gloria, good to see you. So it means like um I lost my train of thought. Oh, we can behave in a healthy way. Our actions towards others can be healthy and they can be unhealthy. So when we make amends, we are changing our behavior to something that is healthy or appropriate, something that works well in that relationship or in that job or in that experience. So a lot of people confuse this with saying, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm sorry. In fact, I think this is a good place to start. When we have done something wrong or inappropriate, we might want to say, I'm sorry. This is an apology, which is a little different than making an amends, but it can be part of making amends. So, an apology is basically saying, when I say I'm sorry in English, it means I feel sorrow. And some people say sorrow. I feel sorrow. I feel badly that I did this thing that is not okay. Romgliev says, is it like to fix a situation? Yes, it's like fixing a situation, specifically fixing your part, what you did that needs to change. Now, why does this build your self esteem, your confidence, and give you more confidence to speak English? First of all, if you have higher self esteem, higher confidence in general, you will have more confidence when you're learning something new, like speaking English. Secondly, when you have made amends and you're acting appropriately in your relationships, but also fixing things from the past, then you have more support and help, genuine support and help from other people who can help you. Um, Also, oh, Espy has something to say to this tractor. I think, hey, Espy, look what I got. Espy, look at me. There's this tractor that's been going by. Do you know what I have? Espy, do you want this? Do you know what I have to give to Espy? It's an avocado skin. She loves to lick the avocado. There's only this tiniest little bit of avocado, but she likes to lick it out. So we'll let her do that instead of barking. When we have things in the past that we've done that are not appropriate, we might think that we never think about that. And maybe, in fact, we don't really think about it. But the thing is it weighs us down. Let me put this phrase. It weighs us down. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that, but I want to know your thoughts on this. What do you think about making amends? How important is it in our life? Do you think this could help you to have more confidence? So put your answers in the comments. And what I'm saying is, when we have things in our past that we've done wrong or inappropriately or badly, it weighs us down. We feel heavy. We may not be thinking about it, but it's in the back of our minds. We say when something is not something we're thinking of right now, it's in the back of our minds. And pardon me, it can be something completely unrelated to English, completely unrelated to what you're doing. But when this thing is weighing us down, it's also slowing us down. It's keeping us from learning, working, relating in the best way that we can. And so this is why it is something that causes us to have less confidence. Because here's the thing, if we did something in the past, we know we should not have done that. There's a part of us that has this little secret thought, I did a bad thing. I must be a bad person. I'm a bad person. I'm, in general, makes us feel like I'm bad. And starting out with I'm bad is not a good place to start for learning. So let me see what we have here in the comments. Ishrak asks, can we become more confident in a month? I would say yes. I have had several women who have done our women's speaking program tell me that they have felt more confident in a month or two. And some of them have said they've actually built their confidence so much, it's changed their whole life. So yes, I would say yes. Having said that, we are building or tearing down our confidence all the time. So it's good to be aware of what we are doing. Jeff says, being able to make amends makes you a better person, I think. I would agree with you. I might say it a little differently. It it makes us feel like a better person. I think that, and this is my personal opinion, I think that people are born good. And I know different cultures see this differently, different people see this differently. So when I approach a person, though, I see a good person. They may be having bad behavior or inappropriate behavior, but my relationship with them 95 to 99% of the time is with the person, not the behavior. So if the behavior is not good or it's bad and it's not affecting me, I can still have relationship with that person, and I think of that person as good. So for me, this is my opinion, we have all good people. Some have, most of us have some level of bad behavior. So I would say it makes us a person with better behavior, with we have better ways of acting. So I think we agree, Jeff. I just am giving my little very specific thing on that. Take what you like and leave the rest. Rumgliev says, it's like a Russian expression, a stone on my shoulders. Yes, when something is weighing us down, it is like having a stone on our shoulders or something very heavy on our shoulders, and it makes it harder to do anything. Anything. Think about it. If you had a huge rock on your shoulders, it would be harder to walk, it would be harder to sleep, it would be harder to do everything. Therefore, it's going to be harder to learn because we know when we are going to learn something, it's good to feel like we've had something healthy to eat, like we've had enough sleep, and we feel ready to learn. Aldana, I don't feel okay. Do you mean right now, Aldona? I'm not sure what you're talking. Uh, Karima says she's one of those women, and she can confirm it, meaning she has experienced what I said in the women's speaking program. She is one of the women in the program. Thank you, Karima. I appreciate that. Yes, and for me, there's a saying. This is why I created the women's speaking program, and I think this is one of the reasons why teachers create groups is, and there's lots of good groups out there. We have a saying, coals burn hotter together. We just talked about coals today in our Saturday women's group. So if you don't know what a coal is, let me tell you. But first, does anyone else know what a coal is? I know at least one person knows. Write the definition of what a coal is, COAL, and then I'll tell you what it is if you don't already know what it is. But think about if you have anything that is on fire, if you spread it out, this is spread out, this is a phrasal verb. If I spread something out like this, I make it go up away from each other, apart from each other. When something is on fire, if you spread it out, you might be able to put the fire out because the fuel to the fire, when it's together, this flame fuels this flame. So coals burn hotter together is a saying that means when you bring them together, they're more effective. It works better. And this is why I have created one of the reasons why I've created our women's speaking program, because together it's more effective. We can help each other out. There's more people available to support each other. And it becomes a way to learn that's more effective. Jeff says he's still waiting on the men Speak Better program. one of my goals is to create a program that is for everyone. Um, I'm not going to get into why I did women first, but there are some reasons why I did that. And at some point, I'd really love to have a program that is for men and women, um, and possibly one for just men, although that wouldn't include me since I'm not a man. There's one of the reasons why I did women first. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, Nelson is saying, I understand you, but not other people. Nelson, I have the same thing in my second language, Spanish. Partly that's because of the way people speak, how clearly they speak, what their accent is, how quickly they speak, how fast they speak, and whether they use a lot of idioms or slang. I am not currently using any, maybe very little slang. I do use a lot of idioms, but I typically explain them when I use them. So that's part of the reason. What I think would help with that is to find other people you also understand who maybe have a different accent, or maybe they speak a little more quickly, and build these different people that you can listen to. Another reason that coals burn hotter together, another reason to learn in groups. If Karima's still here, I think she can attest to that. Let me write that. She can attest to that, meaning she can tell you that she's had this experience, which is in the women's program, there's people who have different accents and different ways of saying things, and so it's not just you and a teacher, which can also be good, but you get more experience, more exposure, more ways of hearing things. Hi, Luis. Luis says, tell you something about my hobbies. I will put that on the list because we are almost out of time right now. But I would love to tell you a little bit more about my hobbies. Okay, like I said, we're almost out of time. I don't see that anyone wrote about coals. So I'm going to tell you that coal is a very usually small, it can be bigger. It's a black substance that you often use in heaters or trains to make them go. So it's something you can burn. And I always think of it as charcoal. Let me put this word, sorry, in the chat. Charcoal you buy at the store if you want to have a barbecue or a cookout or cookout is a good way to say that. And if you have these little charcoals, they're usually like this big, you pile them all together and you put the fire there. Put the fire there. You could say that, but it would be better to say you light them on fire and let them get really hot. If you spread them out too soon, the fire will die, the heat will die. SB's like, let me tell you about that. SB, come here. So, hopefully this was helpful. I would love to know your thoughts or ideas about how you could do this in your life. My last suggestion for you would be to start with small things you're comfortable making amends for, things that I need to apologize to that person and change my behavior. I need to do this differently at work. I know that I'm not doing my best. Pardon me. I need to do that and do my best, because when we are doing our best everywhere, not being perfect, I didn't say being perfect, just when we're doing our best everywhere, it feels really good. So if there's places where we could improve, I'm not talking about doing so much that you're tired all the time. That's not doing your best. That's not taking care of yourself. That is overdoing it. So look for those places where you might be able to make amends and see how you feel. Does it help you to feel better about yourself? Then it's building your confidence. All right. It was great to have a chance to talk with all of you today. If you want to listen again, I will have this recorded, and I would love to see your comments and questions there. And be sure to join me next week, same time, same place, 1:30 p.m. Los Angeles, California time, and I'll talk to you then. Bye, everyone.